Hey, what's up? Today I'm making a beaded strawberry plant with a tiny surprise inside. First, I'll start by making my berries. You can use beaded strawberries, but I wanted some in different shapes and sizes. And since I'm not using beaded strawberries, I thought why not add some beads for seeds. Then of course you have to make your strawberry leaves. It's kind of looking like a star, I guess, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, it's natural. Once I have my top attached, I'm going to manipulate my leaves a little bit just to give them some life. For my stem, I'm going to take some wire and I'm going to loop it on the end so I can kind of make like an anchor. And then sort of roll the clay back over top so I can keep the wire in place. I've got this foil ball I'm going to use for a platform so my berries can cure upright and not flat on my pan. And then I'm going to paint. I'm going to start with my leaves and then continue on to the berry. I really should have used color clay, but I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I do know what I was thinking. I wanted to make some berries that weren't quite ripe yet, so it looks more realistic, I guess. Then I'm gonna glue some rhinestones on top because, I mean, do you really need an excuse to add rhinestones to anything? And then I'm gonna paint over with a gel top coat to seal my rhinestones in and give it some shine. Whoa, so pretty. Just gonna separate some beads to plan them out. I only had seashells around, so why not just use those? And they're cute. This bead was a little annoying to get on. I probably could have made a bigger loop, but we got it on there. Once I have my stems beaded, I'm going to glue the bottom just so they don't, come off when I move my stem around. Just makes our life a little bit easier. And I'll do the same for my tall leaves and my strawberry stems.
What the dog doing?
I'm using this styrofoam ball as the base for my plant, and I'm going to cut it not quite in half, more like, I guess, a third off, and then use a smaller portion so it can sit in like this. If you're just making the beaded plant, you can go ahead and put the whole ball in there, but since this will be my lid, I wanted to leave enough space at the bottom.
What the dog doing?
Then glue the two pieces together once the clay is cured, and then paint. I'm gonna paint a little sky on the top of my, I guess, a lid, so my frog could have something to look at. I'm mixing a bit of gravel with Mod Podge, and I'm going to lay some saran wrap down so when my rocks are dry, I can just easily peel it off. And while my glue is still wet, I'm going to stick all my stems in. And you can go ahead and stop here, but why? Why would you do that when you could, add a little something extra? So we're gonna make a tiny little frog because he's so adorable. He needs a good name, but I'm terrible at naming things. If anyone has any ideas, comment down below.
What the dog doing?
done, put them in the oven to cure and then paint.
What the dog doing?
And I'll paint over him with a gel top coat and then cure. I'm gonna glue him to the bottom first so I can seal that tiny hole in the bottom of my pot before I put in the UV resin. I also painted some flies on the wall because we don't want him to starve. I'm going to drag some resin up the wall just a little bit so it kind of creates like a splash effect. And then cure. I'm obsessed with him. And after our rock glue dries, we are done. So exciting.
What the dog doing?
He's so cute. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.